randomly pick some of your numbers, but no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I want you all to volunteer yourselves, okay? Because if you don't, you miss the opportunity to score points, right? Yeah. But I'm going to call out group names first. So like group A, and then I have my timer here with me. I have my timer. Yeah, so if I say group A, right, then you just volunteer. Any one of you can volunteer within the 5-second window. Then only I'll present my question to you. Okay? And then when I present my question to you, you're supposed to answer it to score the points. It's a quiz. Now, what happens if you don't do it by 5 seconds? Then you forfeit, and then the next group can steal the opportunity. You all got it right? Okay. So I'm going to randomly call out a group name right now, according to the alphabet. Ready? Before we do that, can we just check in with all your reaction buttons, which is the digital wave or the thumbs up? Wait. At the count of 3, we all press, okay? And then I just want to see that you guys can, every window is able to be seen. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Every window. Every one of you, Ichen, Crystal, got it, Ichen? Rachel, still connecting. Okay, good. So this is the way you steal the points. When I say 1, 2, 3, pump, the moment I look at the screen and I see a flash of the wave or the thumbs up, then I'll call your name. Can? Remember, only in your group, so when I say group C, then only the group C people will do it. 5-second window. Let's try this. First question for group B. 3,000. Okay, Adeline, I saw you go up. You're from group B?
B or D?
B.
Oh, sorry. I thought I heard D. D for donkey. Sorry. B for Bangkok. Sorry.
Okay.
Extra point.
Not fair.
Okay.
You gotta listen to the instructions. One more time. This question is for group A. Here we got Sarah. Okay, Sarah, you're from group A?
Yep.
Okay, good. So here's your question in order to steal your first 500 points or claim your 500 points. My question is, and when I give you the question, which you're going to answer with the point, you're going to have to explain it as well. You're going to explain it in this 3 sub-sequence. You're going to explain the what, that means the definition of this point. Number 2, you're going to explain the why. Why is this important in youth work, for example? And number 3, you're going to explain the how does it work, meaning an example. Give me an example. So Sarah, get ready. There are 3 E's in sequence.
In sequence.
And the third E is what?
The third E is what?
What is the third E?
The third E is empower.
Okay, you got that correct.
Oh,
now
okay.
teach the class.
Teach the class.
What is the definition of the empower? Number 2, why is it important? Number 3, how does it work? Ready? Go.
Okay, so simply empowering is giving power back to the youths. I guess the examples I'll say for the how. Why do we do this? Is to give them a sense of ownership and responsibility. Yeah, that's one reason. And then for how we can do it, a few ways could be set up the room. Give them some responsibilities in setting up the room that the program will be in. Let them have small roles like being the group scribe, timekeeper. This gives them a sense of belonging and ownership and a chance for us as leaders to affirm them.
Okay, good. 30 seconds. You cleared all the 3 subsequence or the sub questions. Yeah, empowering is about giving power or giving responsibility, roles, and tasks. It's important to create ownership. And lastly, some examples would be to ask them to set up the room, ask them to clear the litter, ask them to keep time. Okay? 500 points for group A. Uh, Crystal, Ichen, you're taking notes, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. By the way, talking about empowering, can I empower participant number 7? Is it Clifford? Yeah.
Yes.
Clifford, can you
Yep.
just DM me or put in the chat box or do a wave or even unmute yourself to warn me when it is 7:50?
7:50. Okay, no problem.
Okay?
Yes.
Because the time now is
7:40.
7:40. So 7:55, can?
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, this assessment is 15 minutes. Okay, good. Second question for group D, Daring Daredevils. 3,000. Okay, Rachel, yours went up first. Rachel, unmute yourself.
Hello.
Okay. So, in MLI,
Oh, okay.
what is L? Go.
L is limit. Yes, limit.
Limit what?
It is, okay, what I remember, setting boundaries such as like expectations at the start, the ground rules, setting the expectations of
Okay.
what we expect
That's
of.
the how, okay? That's the how.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah. Why?
Um,
Why is it important?
okay, so it's kind of setting the scene so that people know kind of what to do there, what a behavior to give and expect of other people there.
Okay.
Yeah, to be able to create an environment that's conducive to learning, that's respectful of others. I think triangulation is also mentioned here to kind of refer back to the ground rules if someone deviates from it.
Okay. All right. So, limit setting has got to do with creating boundaries, setting limits, or setting the ground rules, like you said. For us, it's very straightforward in youth work as ground rules, because that becomes the perimeter of expected behavior, as well as timing. Ichen, you told them about timing, right? Because time creates a kind of boundary as well, a kind of frame for them to work in. So if you have a chance to work with us in the actual program, either in school physically or in the homes, you'll notice we use a lot of timing, like 10 seconds, 5 seconds, 3, 2, 1. It gives a sense of predictability. You might want to write all these things down, not in your notebook, but separately on a paper, because you're not supposed to open up your worksheet. Huh? Okay, predictability. We are always giving predictability. Why is this important? Because for young people, they live in the here and the now. They have no sense of time. They have no sense of space. We need to keep them accountable with space, frames, and time bound. Okay, good job. 500 points for Group D. Get ready for the next one. Group B. B is B for boy. Nobody, ah? Okay, Clifford. That point nearly got stolen by another group. Okay, so Clifford,
Yes.
stand by. We are back to the 3 E's. So the third E has been covered, empower. Let's go straight for the first E. So you're going to tell us what the first E is about, and then you give us the tree, explain to us what is it, why it's important, and how does it work.
Okay. The first E is engage. Am I correct?
Yep.
Oh, great. So engage. The second question is how, right?
No,
Or is it
what is engage?
Oh, so engage means engaging the youth. So you can engage. I remember, I think you mentioned about pre-program engagement. So it starts even from the time that they enter the event hall. So just engaging them through small talk, fist bumps, yeah, little activities, icebreaking activities right through the program lah. So that's that. Yeah, is that what? Then engage them through activities lah, icebreakers, energizers, and through the
Good.
content that we'll be sharing lah.
Why is it important?
Why is it important? Because I think the first impression is very important. I think that was what was mentioned. They want to know whether you're a threat or whether you are a friend to them. So that's why right from the onset when they first come in, you have to set the tone already. Yeah, and then because they are also their attention span is very short, so I guess your activities need to engage them in a way that they will be engaged. Cannot be like a sit down lecture for 2 hours, that kind of thing.
Okay, good.
Yes. Did I get it right?
Give an example. How does it work?
Example, say, sitting in a circle, I guess. Sitting in a circle will help. So if they excuse themselves, they head back to the toilet, they're still welcome back in the family. So I think that's why we do circle sitting. Yeah, it could be activities that require you to run around the room and things like that.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Well done, 500 points.
Yay!
So, good job. For
you.
Clifford and the rest, just listen up because while we are doing assessment here, I'm also teaching you, okay? Let me just add to your current knowledge level. So I like what you said about pre-engagement. To me, that's number one. And I think Ichen taught you guys well because pre-engagement breaks impressions like real fast, okay? You don't wait for them to sit down, eye contact, but no interaction. And then only when 3 o'clock, okay, we start program. Too late already. The battle is lost. So we get out of the familiar environment. We go out to the corridor. We high five them. We make small talk. Hey, how's school? How's your test result? What do you eat during lunch? Then we bring them in. Okay? Because this one, I can tell you, this is a very, very winsome way of bringing them over, engaging them. Yeah? You win them over already. And all of a sudden, whatever impressions of you, this adult lah, come waste my time remedial lah, because we are all symbols of authority, and usually for them is negative. Okay. Now, the other thing about engagement is there's non-verbal engagement, sitting in circle, clapping. All this is engagement, but it's non-verbal. Yeah. There's also verbal engagement. We do what we call camp lingos. Yeah, is everybody okay? And the response is all right. Obviously now with virtual is a bit tough lah. Yeah, but verbal engagement is very powerful because psychologically we're wiring them up to respond. We call this command and response as well. So psychologically they are being conditioned to respond to us. It is meaningless banter, but psychologically, they are subjugating themselves to our authority. That's why you go to Camp Challenge, OBS, Adam Khoo, or that, there's a lot of give me 3 and clap. Yeah. Everybody all right, okay. And it becomes very rhythmic and poetic even because it is psychologically hypnotic. See, when I drive my car, I get stuck at one of the highways last time, I remembered, and traffic jam. So it was a slow crawl. And in front of me, there was this other car with a toddler behind who was probably very bored, but he was looking at the dashboard behind, looking at me. He was peeping. So what I did was I tried to do a little play with him. So I did this. Peekaboo, peekaboo at my steering wheel. And he did the same. Now, at that moment, No words were exchanged. Probably there was no meaning. But at that moment, he was in my world. I managed to build a non-verbal rapport with him and got him to respond to me in my world. You see? And it's very powerful when young people get drawn into your world this way. You are able to build a very good rapport with them. Okay, so engagement is the number one in our stack of 3 E's. Very well done. I have one more question for the last group. And this group is group what? Group B, is it? Or D? Group C. Group C, 1, 2, 3, go. 3,000, 2,000, 1,000. Yeah, you press lah, press the thing. Your point nearly got stolen, you know, Zach. Okay, so Zach, turn on your unmute.
Okay.
In
Hi.
MLI, L was already taken, limit setting. What is I? Ready? You're going to teach a class according to what, why, how. Let's go.
I think I is the mood identity. Identity.
Identity setting, remember, mood
Identity
setting,
setting.
limit setting, identity setting. Okay. Okay, explain.
Yeah, so identity setting, it's like, I think like what we did is actually to group ourselves in a group name. So like for us, when we come in, we call ourselves, our name is the name after the alphabet C. So it's like composed communicator. So it's like identity for us. And I think it's to build a sense of belonging to the group. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Build a sense of belonging. Good.
And what's why or
How? Like, name me an example.
how
You
it
already,
build
yeah, you already gave one, I think, group, right? Group, but
Yeah.
in the group, do what?
for group activities. So
How
say
to build
like
identity?
like say for example, one thing will be maybe what's it called? Like certain groups, there are this movement when they take pictures, right? So it's like a symbol of themselves in the community or something like that. Yeah, like a twist sign or yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, well done. 500 points.
Thank you.
I think you answered everything. Let me give you extra information. Yep. By the way, you all wear blue or not? There's a reason. I want to build identity here. So, identity. Why is it important for young people? Why? Because in the world of an adolescent, their number one psychosocial task is who they can identify themselves with. And identification has got to do with identity. In the world of a youth, they make meaning, they make truth, values. All these are a social construct. It's never in a vacuum. They get all this learning in a social context, and that's why we call it tribal, the tribal effect. In childhood, it is parents. Values are passed down. They are mommy's boy, daddy's girl. In teenagehood, 13 to 19, it's peers. Because they're going to differentiate themselves from their parents. They're finding their identity. And their key question in life is, who am I? Right? So, one of the greatest crises today is identity crisis. Because the world is telling young people a lot of mixed messages. Whether it's sexuality, sexual orientation, They're having an identity crisis. One of our jobs is to help them discover their identity. And if we want to teach them, if we want to reach out to them, we must first create a social context first. So group. So they all want to feel belong. They all want to feel part of a identity. So if you work with us long enough, post-COVID, you join us for camps, you see we'll do this a lot. Day one is all forming identity. We break them into tribes. We can't address a whole assembly of a few hundred students. We have to break them into tribes. Even their classes are too big. Then we give them tribe colors, tribe names. They come out themselves because the more they initiate, the more they contribute their ideas, the higher the ownership. Always remember that. That's why we always go for empowerment, guys. We don't spoon feed them. It must come from their spirit. Then they will wave their flags, you know, OGLs and all that. Remember your orientation days or not? You were so high during the orientation camp because you felt belong. You're part of them. Then day two, we will insert all the teaching because now the teaching has something to sit on now. The foundation of social constructivism. Okay? Well done. All four groups did very well. Give yourself a round of applause. Clifford, were you supposed to time check me? Am I still on time?
It's 7:55. I was actually typing in the chat.
Oh.
Yes, 7:55. No, I haven't sent yet.
You haven't sent yet? Okay,
Yes,
okay.
I was about to, because I didn't want to interrupt you.
Oh, thank you.
7:55.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I
Yep.
was just looking at my clock, but you know, I can't keep track about teaching. I get carried away. So thank you very much, Clifford.
No problem. Yep.
Yeah. Now we are going to the next level. It's not over, guys. It's not over. I want you all to look at the screen. Okay. So I'm going to do 2 in 1. Yi-Chen, just correct me if I'm wrong, right? Because I think there was some feedback that said that we did not cover this. Am I right?
Yeah.
So let's quickly cover this and then I'll go to SAL, okay? And there will be another quiz later on. So now you can refer to your booklets, to your worksheets. And turn to this page. What page is this? Can someone say?
6.
Yeah, page 6.
Page 6, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so very quickly, because I showed you the Swiss roll yesterday. That's the MOE Swiss roll, but I think we did not cover this. I hope that it is more organic. So this metaphor of a tree is great for me. So first and foremost, let's look at the visible parts. The visible parts are obviously the fruits, and the fruits are the DOEs. The DOs, the desired outcomes. MOE calls it DOE, guys. Desired outcomes of education, because the agenda is education. And you will notice the fruits hang off the branch. So it needs to be supported by the branch. And the branch is the 21CCs. 21st century core competencies, also known as 21CCs. These are big in the past 15 years. Now they kind of downplay it a bit, but still very important. 21st century skills are very different from 20th century skills. Why so? The 20th century education system educates us for the industrial age. That's why the classroom is reflective of the factories. Rows upon rows, assembly lines of workers. You just shut up and do your work. Supervisor say do it, give you instruction, shut up and do it. No questions asked. But 21st century, you cannot afford to just keep quiet because it's an entrepreneur age. It's highly disruptive. You need critical thinking skills, analytical skills, evaluative skills, all these 21st century core competencies, right? So it's very different from the 20th century. In fact, today, if you just shut up and go to school, you go SMU, for example, Your first year is all assessed based on classroom engagement, right? If you just keep quiet, you don't speak up, you will fail. 50% of your assessment, CA, is based on classroom engagement, dialectical debates, arguments, challenge the convention. So these days, we shouldn't just be compliant students. We need to have vocal students. Anyway, I'm not concerned about that. I told you about the trunk. This is the SEL. This is the character part in terms of building the tree. But even that needs to sit on roots. So these are your core values. Now take a look here. For youth workers, for mentors, we focus on this. We focus on the SELs. We focus on the core values. That is our focus. Sure, you can focus on studies, tuition, 21st century core competencies. Sure, you can do that. But when we work with schools, when we work with the system, MSF, MCCY, as youth workers, this is our focus. Everybody okay so far? Give me a thumbs up. Thank you. I'm going to what Yichen taught you, which is the roots. If you don't refer to your notes, I would like you to tell me in order via the chat box what are the 5 R's in order. Okay, let me glance at the chat box. Okay, what's the first R? They are in order, guys. First R, responsibility. Are you using the chat box because I can't really see? You're got to type something lah, huh? Second R, can you remember? Hello? No one?
We are typing. The chat is moving.
They are typing, Glenn.
Oh, I can't see.
You see the chat box?
You can click on the
They
three
are,
dots.
they are all
The
they're all
three dots
typing
and click on the
inside.
chat.
You're all typing?
Yes, it's active.
I can't see.
Click on the top
I
of your screen.
click on the chat box, but it's not opening up. I don't know why. Okay, now I see. Okay. Relationship, right? But yeah, okay. Third one. Come on. Fastest fingers. Respect. Okay. Good. Fourth one. Oh, I got to keep glancing over. Resourcefulness. And the last one. Great job. Resilience. Okay, good job. Give yourself a round of applause. Good job. Well done. Okay, now I'm going to have a challenge now because I'm going to show this screen. You all know what this is, right? This is the social emotional learning or the competencies. And I would like, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to now pick on numbers. So you all stand by, huh? Okay, can you all close your book? Integrity, please. Close your book. There are 5 dimensions. Yep. And I would like you all to name that dimension followed by 2 bullet points. You can paraphrase the points but make a calculated guess. I would like to go for number 17. Participant 17, who are you? Esther, is it?
Yes.
Okay, what's the first one?
Self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
Yeah.
Good. Can you give me 1 or 2 points here? What is self-awareness? What are the sub-bullets? What does it mean?
Being aware of your emotions.
Emotions, that's number 1. Good. Number 2?
Um,
What must you be aware of?
yourself.
Yes?
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
it's
sorry.
okay. Make a guess. Make an intelligent guess. So emotions is 1, yeah. What else? If you want to contribute to a group work, for example, you want to know what you have within you. What else must you be aware of that you can contribute meaningfully? Obviously, you don't want to contribute your weaknesses, so you want to contribute what?
Your knowledge, your strength,
Your
your
strengths. Yeah, okay. So be self-aware of your strengths. A lot of young people don't know what they're good at or their talents, right?
okay.
Okay, good. So that's self-awareness. Well done.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, I can't give points because not fair, because you all got 4 groups. I'll just pick the next one. SM, let's go for Colin, number 16.
All right.
Yeah, what's this?
SM is it's self-management.
Self-management. Yep. So
So it's about the ability to control yourself,
control yourself.
your state, yeah, and I need one
Control
more.
yourself in what area?
The emotional, the stress level,
Okay. So we call that self-control, right?
oh yes, correct.
Yep.
Self-control. And
One more.
also the ability to set goals and also be organized in your thinking and ways you
Okay.
do things.
Set goals, set personal goals, right?
Yeah.
Well done. You said
Okay.
it correctly. And in order to set goals, have a sense of purpose and direction, you need what? Motivation, right? Yeah. So guys, just remember self-management, anything that you can manage comes under this. Stress management, anger management, those are emotions, huh? Time management, that's goals, goal settings, yeah. Okay, good job, good job. Next, we have this green color, remember? SA. Let's go to number. Okay, is there a Punita, right? Punita? Yeah. Are you 8 or 9? Yeah. Yeah, you're 8. You're 8. Yeah. Yeah.
Glenn, in the interest of time, right, it's 8:05. Just
Okay.
have to move a bit faster.
Okay. Can. Yeah. Thanks for that. Okay. So SA. What's this?
It's basically social awareness.
Okay.
So I think we have to really show the understanding and empathy. That's what it really states about. Yeah, and respecting one another. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Is there something I mentioned last night, a very important one, that the teachers will write in their record? That this boy cannot see from the other person's point of view.
I can't remember.
It's magical 2 words.
What's that?
He cannot see the other person's view. He cannot take what?
Perspective.
Yeah, well done. So it's called perspective taking. Okay?
Okay.
Good job. One more. We got 2 more to clear and we're done. Let's go for number 2. Bosco?
Hi, yes.
Let's go.
Relationship management.
Yes.
So it talks about communicating with each other, valuing respect, negotiating.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think just group dynamics.
Okay, good dynamic. Okay. Good, good. I can't let you go yet because
Okay.
I mentioned this one very important. I even asked you all to underline that part where they fight, argue, then they make up. What is that called?
Reconcile.
Okay, what's the word? They have to 2 words.
Make peace.
Make peace.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay, good paraphrasing. Yeah, conflict resolution.
Okay.
Conflict management, important because young people, they just can't get along, right? Okay, good job, good job. Last one, the famous RDM. I'm gonna go for number 9, Catherine.
Responsible decision making.
Yep.
It is being able to make so being able to think in a responsible way before acting,
Okay.
and also what is that word?
So before
That
making
you are
decisions,
able to identify leadership qualities in this segment.
but for him,
Yeah.
what must he?
Must be able to problem solve.
Yes, yeah. And in order to problem solve, what
Mm.
must you do?
Mm.
I mean, if you want to make a
Mm, mm.
decision, you must collect what and then start to process them.
Like information and data, like to
And
how to
then what do you do with it?
you have to be able to decipher what and decide.
Okay.
Yep.
So you need to evaluate.
Evaluate.
Yep. Situational analysis and
Mm.
evaluation. Okay.
There's also reflection, I think. Right.
Yeah, reflection.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Okay, well done, guys. Well done. Okay, so this is what you had yesterday, and you covered it more or less. All of you passed. Well done. Give yourself a round of applause. Good job. Okay, Ichen. Now we should start the first module proper. How long do I have? Until what time actually?
Can you do it 15 minutes? The first module?
Okay, let's try. Everybody turn to the page where it says this. I don't have my book with me, so because I got multiple screens. Yeah. What page is this?
This is page 12 or 13 on their handbook.
Okay, good. So neurodevelopment of young people. And why is this important? Because we need some kind of brain-based theoretical framework in order to understand. Now, you guys really have, these 3 nights is value added. Previously, because in a live situation, we don't have that kind of time. We're doing a lot of activities, right? But down here, because we have firstly condensed the timing, I still have to rush through, but we have added this theoretical background for you. So this one is not been taught in other batches, just for you guys. This is an advanced module. But I realize if you don't have this, you won't be able to understand the next module, which is EL, experiential learning, the next page. So tonight we're going to cover this too. Neurodevelopment, understand the way a young person thinks, how he ticks, and then we're going to use a strategy to leverage on this understanding of his brain. It's all about his brain, okay? So there are many theories when it comes to brain-based learning, 400 over modalities. But this is my favorite. It's called the triune brain. Professor McLean says that, and this was in our past 3-4 decades, his research was based out of evolutionary theory. So I don't really believe in evolution, but I believe in the three-part brain. Triune means three, okay? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you the overview first, spell out the 3 parts. Then I'm going to show you the functions of each part. Many of it is already written in your notes. But more importantly, I want to give you the insights into how they interrelate, okay? So here's what we're going to do. I orientate you first to the 3 parts, starting with the most primitive part of our brain. This is our most primitive part of our brain. It is called the brainstem. It is also called the reptilian brain because all reptiles have this. It's very instinctive. It's the, lizards, crocodiles, snakes, they are all fight or flight type one. Yep. Not much thinking going on, but there's a lot of reactive to external circumstance. Then we've got the middle portion. This is the limbic system. It's also called the mammalian brain. Why? It's red in color because it's the part that has got to do with emotions, right? Think of the mammals like dolphins, cats, dogs. They have the ability to show affection, receive affection, right? Then we got the highest order thinking part of our brain. Humans have this, as in we primarily use this. It's called the cerebral cortex, or in our training tonight, we call it the PFC. PFC means prefrontal cortex. Prefrontal cortex. Ichen, if you're listening in, can you just type into the chat box, spell it out, prefrontal cortex, PFC. We call it the neocortex because it's the new brain. Neo means new, okay? So this is the highest order thinking skills. If you, the prefrontal cortex is only the frontal part though, it's the frontal lobes. Okay, but the cerebral cortex is this whole sheet outside. It's all crumpled together that forms the outer layer of our brain. If you spread it out, it becomes a mahjong paper size. Yeah, but it's crumpled. Okay, so now let's go into each part right now. Let's start with the brainstem. It is the center of instinctive behavior. Keyword, instinct. Instinct. Instinct is subconscious activity. It is not conscious. It is not conscious. What we call conscious willpower. Okay, that means it bypasses the logic. So breathing, sweating, blood pressure, arousal, sexual stimulation, sleeping, they are all instinctive. Right now, if you feel cold, your body is going to signal to you that your hairs are going to stand and you're going to shiver. You have no control over these things. They are all instinctive, right? Automatic nervous system is very reflexive. Think of the mallet, the little hammer, the wooden hammer that the doctor used to knock on your knees, and then you have a knee-jerk reaction. So that's your automatic nervous system. You're not telling your knees, hey, kick now, kick now. You don't need, it bypasses. It bypasses all rational process. Yeah, it's very reflexive. And then it's fight or flight. So I want you all to pay attention to this. You may want to write this down. I want you to think of a cage animal. For example, in the zoo, you see a tiger and it's nervous. It's feeling threatened. It's not thinking negotiation. It's not thinking in between. It's either fight or flight. So for example, an animal handler enters into his cage. He's not thinking, hey, you never feed me first. You feed the other animals. Not fair. He's not thinking like that. He's thinking, can I fight you, overpower you? Or should I run away, flight? Okay? So this is very reactive behavior, very impulsive. Again, we call it non-thinking behavior. And this is important because it's got to do with our survival. Our primitive forefathers during caveman days, we relied on this for protection. We have to make snap judgment. Problem is, it becomes autopilot. We stop thinking. Today in the 21st century, we don't really need to use this. We probably need to use critical thinking. So, this is the brainstem. At this moment, I would like you to think of any youth, anybody that you have experienced in your life who uses this part of his brain primarily. Can you think of any? Do any names come up? Those of you who work with young people before, do they behave this way? Fight or flight, unreasonable, reactive, impulsive. That's because they're using this part of the brain primarily. Now, let's go to the second one, bright red, because it's the center of emotions. This is the emotional part of the brain. If anything, you need to know limbic system is emotional brain, right smack in the center of the brain, connected with the corpus callosum. So what are the functions? It's a relay station for all incoming signals. I need you to take note of this. For young people going through puberty, some of you look like you're going through puberty as well right now. Those who are in adolescent, formative years, all incoming signals from outside, all conversations, all activity, all circumstances, good or bad, is first received as an emotional signal. I repeat that again. It is first received as an emotional signal. It's not a logical information. So with young people, they view the world, they assess the world based on emotions first. That's the radar. That's how they pick up signals. Okay, good or bad. That's why when you work with young people, you have to pay attention to this part first. Right? You got to build that emotional bond and trust first. Because if they don't like you, they don't like you lah. That's it. Finish. No matter how good you are. Number 2 is the hormone release and control center. This is what makes them identify themselves, their identity, their sexuality. At puberty, hormone release is 100% and is very active. That's why we call it raging hormones for them. For the older folk, we usually say aging hormones. Yeah. So that's why we wonder, hey, how come you're so excitable? That's because they are at this stage, emotional stage. That's why they become extra vain, self-conscious, right? And they're doing things out of this emotion. They make a lot of emotional decisions. They make emotional purchases. Yeah. Memory encoding and assignment center. All memories are encoded emotionally. Not just youth. If I were to ask you to try to recall something significant that happened in your childhood, teenagehood, high chance you will recall the emotional material first. Yeah. So if I were driving, what I like to do is to tune into my radio station. My favorite one is Go FM. Oldies but goldies. And ever so often, there will be this song, one of my favorite bands last time. The band's name is called Air Supply. I don't know whether you can remember or not. That shows how old I am. But you will have this song called, it goes like this. I'm all out of love. I'm so lost without you. Remember the song? Those of you remember? Now, and then I find myself shed a tear or two, you know. Start to cry a little bit, you know, tear up. Why? Because that was my first breakup song. And then my wife would turn to me and say, you okay or not? And I said, yeah. I wipe my tears and say, yeah, nothing wrong. Because it's an emotional trigger. Most of our emotions, most of our memories are emotionally encoded. And that's why it becomes so powerful and is stored as long-term memory. Now you might be saying, but I can't remember the emotions, I can remember the facts. Well, maybe it's so traumatic, maybe it's so significant that your smart, clever brain has learned to dissociate the emotion because maybe it's too painful. Remember, it needs to survive. So what do? If you see the effects of that as a pattern, informing your behavior all the time, and especially if it's negative, you got to book an appointment with a psychologist or someone like me. So that is your center of emotions, the limbic system. Last one. This is the center of executive function. This is your frontal lobes or your PFC, prefrontal cortex. This is the boss of your brain, the CEO. What does it do? Impulse control. Remember self-control, self-management? This is the part. This is considering consequences. If I do, what will happen? If I don't do, what will happen? Okay? This is the part for decision making. Remember RDM? That's why all these functions of the executive brain, the frontal lobes, contribute directly to SEL. And when we work with a child on his SEL, we are developing this part of the brain. Foresight and planning ahead. Hindsight and reflective thinking. Wow. Remember I told you young people, they are always in the here and now, in the present. They're not thinking ahead. Neither are they reflecting and evaluating the past. So all the mistakes that they make, they don't learn. So what do? We teach them journaling, reflection. Journaling is a lost art these days. Because these days, anytime we want to get excited or stimulated, we look for external stimuli. Look at all the computer graphics, the CGI and movies, Avengers, makes them excited, right? But it's all externally stimulated. They lost the art of rigorous reflection, self-reflection. How about foresight and planning ahead? Because they are always in the here and now, they are always in the fight or flight, especially the youth at risk. They're not thinking. So they do things and say things that they regret later. There's one young boy I just met in May. just last month, the mom was just crying. He say he hate me. He say he wish he was never born. I talked to the boy. He say he regret. But you know, this is a pattern. Every time he get angry, the emotions take over. The limbic system take over. His frontal lobes is very weak. And so he says things that he will regret later on in life. Okay, so this is the frontal lobe. Everybody clear so far? So let's see how they work together. The frontal lobes are like the brake system that helps manage the impulses of the limbic system. So if you need to remember anything, the PFC, the frontal lobes, is the brakes of the limbic system, which is the emotional engine. And I already told you, for young people, the hormones are 100% released. The limbic system is fully operational during puberty at around 11 to 14 years old, some even younger. Okay. The prefrontal cortex also begins to develop during puberty, but only fully matures at age what? Can somebody make a guess? At age what? Here, the emotional brain, the limbic system, is 11 to 14 years old. Fully operational, guys. But for the PFC, what age do they start to fully develop? Let's see. Well, I really can't see.
They're saying 25, 30,
Okay.
21, 28,
Okay. 31.
18.
18? Okay. All right. So it's 21 to 24 years old. Some of you are barely their age. Your frontal lobe's not sure whether fully formed or not. But 21 to 24 years old, I want you all to understand, to grasp the implications here. 10 years apart, guys, for your matured brain, your adult brain to catch up. That's why in youth work, there's no such thing as, oh, youth, I grew up already, mom, I'm matured, I can make decisions. No, you can, but you must always come under adult supervision. That's why I always say, yeah. Even up to 21, because some, by the way, it's very subjective. I know of 31, 35-year-old adults still behaving like 14-year-old. So it's subjective. But the point is here, we as youth workers must try to engage and try to develop the PFC while managing the limbic system, the emotional brain. Okay? So that's the important part. In fact, someone said very accurately, the young person's brain, the limbic system, the emotional brain is like a red Ferrari engine, right? Boom, boom, all ready to charge, all ready to go. But the frontal lobes, his frontal lobes are like the bicycle brakes. Cling, cling. It cannot brake. That's why they get into a lot of accidents. That's why when you tell young people, and I've done sexuality programs before with, I think, Focus on the Family in the early days. We teach them, right? Say, hey, cannot have sex before marriage. Okay, everybody nod their head as if they understood. But the next moment, when the conditions are right and the emotions are high, they go and have sex. That's because they're not thinking, they are feeling at that point of time. That's why when I bring young people to go for outdoor adventure, they go to OBS, for example, they do the flying fox, the outdoor elements adventure. Yeah. They can say things like, hey, sir, no need to have safety harness lah. We just zoom, Superman, right? They are thrill seeking. It's emotion. They're not thinking of consequences, which is frontal lobe activity, right? Okay, so I hope you understand this part. Now, very quickly, I want to quickly give you an application here. How youths process signals with their brains. Okay, this should be the last part. Ichen just pace me, okay? So I want you all to draw, yeah? I already told you earlier on that all external triggers enter the mind of a young person through what? What is this called? This is the limbic system. It is an emotional trigger, remember? All incoming signals are emotional signals first. So it's always captured at the limbic system. But it does not stay there for processing, depending on what kind of emotions. Now, you need to come for my advanced course or for my other master series courses, which I think Yichen will let you guys know. Because as a youth worker or youth even counselor, you need to be an expert in reading emotions. So I typically go by Plutchik's emotional wheel, but for us at youth workers, this basic course, you just need to know that there are two types of emotions. Do you know what they are? It's either negative emotion or positive emotion. That's all you need to know here. All right? Because if it's positive emotions, it will go where? It will go upstream. But if it's negative emotion, where does it go for processing? It will go downstream. Take a look at your notes. The brainstem is the center of instinctive behavior. Any thinking? No thinking whatsoever. It's just fight or flight. So it becomes very unreasonable, right? When they get angry, for example, have you argued with young people before, or has your mom or dad argued with you before when you were younger? You sometimes get very unreasonable, right? You're saying things like, yala, huh? Yala, I don't care what. I don't, it's really, really stupid things because you're not thinking through. So if it's positive emotions, you typically bring the information upstream to the frontal lobes to be processed because it's a non-judgmental brain. It's a non-defensive brain. The brainstem is a defensive one. That's why we never lecture people who are angry, especially children. We give them time out, right? Because no point talking to them. They are argumentative, they are defensive, and no learning takes place. I've seen dads and moms say things, argue and say, no, I told you how many times. You see what happened? But at that moment, they're not thinking. So it's one of the worst times to teach. You have the discipline, yeah, but you can't teach. But the frontal lobes is where they begin to process logically, right? Considering consequences, foresight, hindsight. So this is the part where they can reasonably process information. What does this mean for us? Does it mean that we make them happy all the time? Positive emotion, then only can teach? No. There are certain strategies that we in AOL use. Write this down. Number one, we use strengths-based approaches. So one of the basic principles is we try not to catch them doing wrong because too late already, right? Usually at that point of time, teachers scold already. Parents discipline. We try to catch them doing right because that will be a point where we can reinforce positive qualities and say, hey, good job. Yeah, you did that. So remember that you elicit, you empower them. So these are our approaches. The other way is, as far as possible, we try to encourage reflection. So after every activity, it is a must. If you're working with us, it is a must. It's a standard to do a debrief. You can't just say, hey, okay, take out your helmet, drink water, good job, everybody. You climb the ropes, you succeed now. Go and have a rest. No. You sit down, you circle, do a circle, you take out your mahjong paper if you need to, and you debrief and reflect. That's more important than the experience. You can have personal journaling. So those of us who work in a home, one of the things we encourage to keep a logbook. Every student will have an exercise book. It's a reflection journal. They can keep a weekly journal, and then they kind of pass up to you, and then you can take a look, encourage them, write some encouraging notes, and say, "Hey, good job. Your mother came and visit you, right? And then you did this. You can remember. Great job." There's no right or wrong. There's no pass or fail. It's just reflection. We want to take out all their thoughts, all their, and articulate it onto paper. Don't have the words to articulate. Some of them can't spell English. I mean, their English is quite atrocious. Then draw. Drawing is the same way as reflecting. So a drawing journal, an art journal is fine. Okay? So here are some very quick tips that I've just given you. Make sure you note them down because if you join us, you will need to practice this. And if you're going back to your agencies, introduce this new work. Now you have the theory to back it up. Now, very quickly, 5 key implications. Just write this down. These are, I already mentioned them already just now when I was teaching, so I'll just go fast. Number 1, relating to use is more feelings-based than logic-based. True or true? Very true, right? Feelings-based. Young people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So for us, we have to build that rapport first. That's the number 1. You earn the right to speak into their lives. That will be the number 1 basis, okay? So mentoring is big for us. Number 2, youths become vulnerable to influences when the emotional doors are open. This is understood. They become very, very exposed. Yeah, especially negative emotions. Just a quick story. This girl, the mom was complaining to me. This was years ago. It says there was once this her girl got scolded in school, stayed back for remedial, and then got scolded lah. Okay, and then come back home. The mom also scolded her because she got the call from the teacher, right? So wow, she was so she needed to vent but couldn't vent. She slammed her bedroom door, started going on Facebook and uploading her feelings. Then along came this anonymous guy, yeah, a sexual predator, and then PM her and said, "Hey, what's up, girl? What's wrong?" And then she said, "Who are you?" And say, "No, no, I just wanted to, I just care for you, okay?" And then she said, "Yeah, I just got scolded by teacher, parents, all these adults in the world. They suck, man. They don't understand." And then this guy says, "Yeah, I understand how you feel. My mother also like that." Here, straight away, they have this affinity, right? This rapport. He's building rapport with her. And he's trying to say, "I understand you." That's emotional material. So that 1 hour chat turned to 3 hours, and 3 days later, they met offline, and then things just went downhill, right? He took advantage of her. Youths are vulnerable when emotional doors are open. Number 3, youths learn better when they can make an emotional connection to the lesson. So for trainers, for mentors, youth workers like yourself, one of the key things when you're teaching, as much as possible, like what we did, we did all those games and interaction. Yeah. Yes, there's time for lecture like now, but we try to embed it. Now, if you come for my live training, and by the way, once you graduate tomorrow night, we have a principle here called once my student, forever my student. Okay, so you can always re-attend, refresh yourself, and especially for a live course where we get to really play games. I tell you, our YWT is all full of games on every night because we need to gamify lessons. Okay, so there's a way to be creative, gamify it, and then debrief. Once you debrief, the learning is reinforced. So you can come back for free. Just pay the admin cost lah. It's really cheap. Okay, so that's number 3. Number 4, positive emotions create optimal conditions for learning or change. So it doesn't mean make them happy. I already warned you. It's not about making them happy, positive all the time. It means that we have to be very alert and attuned to the emotional environment with our youth, with your group. And when there's positive emotions, they become very optimal conditions for learning. So that's when you got to sleep in your learning. And one of our strategies is EL, experiential learning, which we're going to cover tonight. Number 5, youths need time out to cool down and process their emotions. Quick poll here, type it in the chat box. How long does it take for a youth to cool down from a simple negative emotion like anger? Maybe he's just pissed off with what his parents just talk about him. So he's angry. How long does it take for a youth to cool down before he can think logically? Did anybody write?
Well, they're saying 8 minutes, 6 seconds.
6 seconds? Serious?
6 seconds to cool down. 30 minutes? Days! Half day, 15 minutes.
Oh, you mean 6 days? You mean 5 minutes? Wow, 5 minutes. Who's that? Okay. Now, obviously, there's a difference between boys and girls. Who is faster, boys or girls? Cool down. Yeah lah, of course lah, the guys. Huh? Yeah. 1 minute, angry, shout, all the vulgar word come out. The next minute, hey, how, brother, jiole, brother. Okay? But girls, my goodness, you can keep until you're retired and you still can remember. Okay, so there's a difference, right? So typically the duration is about 30, 40, 45 minutes. And that's why we need a timeout to process. We cannot be thinking. We cannot make decisions at that point in time. So we tell them, say, hey, relax, relax. Go and chill, go and chill. Yeah. But when you chill, you need a time back in. So we call this bridging technique. Bridging technique. I know a lot of parents angry. They just say, go to the room. Okay, go to my room. Then when come back. That one's called burn the bridge. So bridging means go to the room, cool down. I also need to cool down. Before dinner, 6 o'clock, we meet downstairs again. We're going to talk about this later, but now we cool down. That is called bridging. You set another appointment to talk about it. Because if you don't, especially for the boys, you'll be, no more already lah, never mind lah, okay already, okay. But they keep inside subconsciously, and then they don't deal with the problems. Okay? Yeah. Okay, good. So bridging technique. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I covered this. I have to go quickly into the second one, the second module. Now it makes sense. The experiential learning or reflective learning, it doesn't matter. Okay, so you can interchange it with reflective learning, experiential learning. It's all the same. Those of us who are doing team building activities outside as a trainer or that, they call it action-based learning. Okay?
Can you do it in 15 minutes so that they can have the experience? You
Sure.
can focus on the experience. Yeah.
Okay. I will dive deep very quickly. Get ready, pay attention. I'll go with the definition. Learning is achieved through hindsight reflection upon the experiences of an event, activity, engagement, etc. I know it might be different in your books, but just remember it's reflection. Okay? It's not just the experience. Can? And then you can write down hindsight reflection as well. It is not just the experience, guys. It's not just the experience. It is the reflection. So we will map it across this. This is the 4-stage experiential learning cycle by David Cope. This is the one that all OBS trainers, Outward Bound School, must know. They must pass this exam. These are the 4 stages. And it all starts with experience, obviously. You can also interchange this word with event. So whatever events in their life, it starts with that. That starts the chain, that starts the cycle. So after the experience, what must we do is an R. R stands for reflect. You need to reflect on it. That's why when you start exercising this cycle, this experiential learning cycle, and you follow it, your reflective habits will begin to form. Reflective practice. And only after you reflect, then you draw out something. It starts with L. You draw out a lesson. Now, guys, you can't just draw out lessons from the experience. You have to reflect first. Reflect means go stun, go back, review. Yeah? Then, out of the lesson, no lesson can be fully learned unless you do this, the A. And A will bring you back all the way to another experience. So what's the A? You have to apply the lesson. The lesson alone, this one alone, will not change you. So a lot of teachers, a lot of parents, they like to ask their children what they learned. What do you learn in school today? Oh, I learned perseverance, faithfulness. That doesn't mean their life is changed, you know. They just regurgitated what they learned out here through the years. What we want to see, and as mentors and youth workers, this is the yardstick for learning, application. Because when the youth is able to apply what he learned, then it will bring him back to another experience. And this becomes a cycle over and over again. Okay, so let's take a look what goes on in each stage. At the experience station, you can be a participant. That means you go in and have the experience like a high ropes lah, OBS lah, or games, any activity. Or you can also be an observer. So we call this indirect learning. This is direct participation, is indirect. Observer. And it doesn't matter. Okay, so guys, please don't fall for the trick, especially parents. Holiday, go and send to holiday camp, super camp, that kind of thing, and then say, he learned 3 days, he learned. No. If he doesn't reflect, he's not learning. Okay, so let's say you're doing a group work with your youths. Yeah, make sure it's not just the experience. You must prepare for the reflection. Now, at the reflection stage, what do? You do a review, a debrief, a discussion of what you saw, what you heard, what you felt, what you thought, etc., etc. Now, this is likened to an interview of the senses. Non-judgmental interview. You can interview, hey, what do you see? Yeah, you climb the ropes. Oh, what do you feel? Yeah, who was there? Yeah. So write this down. Each one you can type it in. We use this method called 5Ws 1H. You know what's the 5Ws 1H? Who, what, where, when, why, and how. These are questioning skills. This part, reflection, is not giving answers. This is questioning. You ask a lot of questions. A good youth worker, a good mentor always asks questions. You are not there to teach. You're there to draw out. Remember elicit? The second E? You're supposed to draw out his experience, his thoughts, his process, his emotions. Then only you can go to learning. Extract the learning points, the lessons, the principles from what was reflected. You may want to write this down as well. You also want to reinforce prior learning. So for example, the 5 R's, by the way, all our AOL curriculum is anchored on these 5 R's, the values. So we will always go back to the values because they are like our roots. So when they have another experience, we reflect, we draw out the lesson, we sometimes say, oh, so that's teamwork, right? Teamwork means what? Relationship. Okay, relationship. You see, that's one of our values. Then you reinforce it again. So we call this stacking. Stacking of the values and principles. And then once again, no learning is concretized unless you go to apply. Apply the new learning, reinforce the old lessons into the next experience. Okay, this is the cycle. Now you might be wondering how to go through this whole cycle if I only have 3 hours with the youth. Now, if you're a mentor, you can see him again next week. And then you can ask him to reflect, ask him what he applied. You can keep him accountable. If you're a youth worker in any of our programs, we've got short courses, short programs with the schools, etc. 6 weeks. So you got 6 weeks to do this cycle with them. Every week, you just come back. What do you learn? How do you apply? Share a little bit. What's your reflection? Then reinforce the learning. But what happens if you go in for 3 hours? Can you do this? You can using questions. So it's the art of reflective questioning. So youth workers, I tell you, one of the top 3 skills of youth workers, this is the way I judge youth workers and I assess them, is their questioning skills. You know, youth worker don't need to be charismatic, you know. In fact, I don't like those kind of youth worker. Oh, wow, shout very loud, rah, rah. No need. You just know how to bring a youth through the 4 stations using questions. And the only areas that I pay attention to is these 2. Can you see my cursor? Reflect and apply. There's only these 2 stations. Okay, I'm not even interested in lessons. In the reflect stage, here are some questions. You might want to take a snapshot or you can write it down. I suggest you take a snapshot after this. It's not in your notes. You can ask, what did you do or experience today? This is as a mentor. Okay, what happened? When, where did it happen? How did it happen? Who was there? What were you feeling? What were you thinking? Okay, so I like to go through like this. These are what we call concrete questions. They cannot say maybe what, right? So what do you do? Yeah, what happened? So I like to use all the what, when, where, how, who. Then I go to the feelings and thinking, more intrinsic. Notice I never use the word why. Okay, why didn't I use why? Now, it doesn't mean I don't use it at all. I can use it, but not when I don't have data. So I collect all this data first, then I ask why. Why is it we don't ask why first? Because why is an upper order question. It's very abstract. It taps into belief systems and values. So you never ask why first, because the person is going to struggle a long time to give you an answer. In fact, he will look up and think, why? Why? Because I believe that life must be lived this way. You know, it's very philosophical. So some people ask why questions all the time. Yeah, just like that day at a McDonald's, this mother was scolding her boy. Why you so naughty? Why? Tell me why. Tell me why you so naughty. How is the boy going to answer? Right? Wrong question. You're going to get wrong answers. So we only reserve the why strategically. Only when we have enough data, then we ask the why. Because it makes him ponder, it makes him think. Now, the application question would be, what will you do next time? It's always in the future. How will you do it? When? Where? With whom? Okay? It's always future oriented. Application is in the future. And you might want to provide a context as well by saying, okay, so next week, when you go home, how will you treat your mother differently? You say you learn respect, right? Your lesson is respect, right? Okay, how will you treat her differently? Okay, and then where? Where will you do it? Okay, okay, you say after dinner. After dinner, what will you do? Okay, wash the dishes. How will you wash? Okay, don't wait, right, until the end of the evening. You once after dinner, everybody put the plates there in the sink, then you wash it, right? Okay, with who? No, just with yourself. Okay, good. Now, you are describing and projecting a future reality. It's not happened yet. This is called role playing in the theater of your mind. And it's very powerful because you are helping them to role play in their mind what has not happened yet. I tell you, this is important when you come to prison with us, especially CWP, Changi Women's Prison. A lot of them, when they come out of prison, their number one problem is the boys. The boys are all waiting for them. And they'll do whatever they say. So we teach them role playing inside, learning how to say no, learning how to prepare their answers, yeah, and rehearsing with them over and over again until it becomes a reality they can apply when they step out of prison. And the boy, hey, how, honey, let's go out tonight, come to my home. And then she's able to answer already because all rehearsed. Okay, so these two are very important. Reflect and apply. Can? Okay. So why don't I stop here now? Any quick questions? You can type in the chat box or just quick one, okay? Just few seconds or 1 minute. Because I'm going to pass to Yichen and she's going to give you an actual experience to participate. No point teaching you experiential learning and then no experience, then it's all theory. We want to go through the 4-stage cycle. Remember guys, 4 stations only. If you can internalize this 4 station, you can talk to anybody and hold a conversation that is meaningful. Because you lead them through one stage to the next. Youth mentoring, youth work is not sit down, drink kopi, Coca-Cola, and then just talk nonsense. Huh? What you do? Huh? How's life? It's not like that. It's very directive. If you see me at work with a youth, you understand, oh, he's at stage 3. Okay? And it's very important because then you will have direction. Okay, so if there's no question, we leave it to the end.
Oh, sorry, I have a question.
Yeah, sure, go.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, so you mentioned the limbic system, right, is fully operation during puberty at 11 to 14. So from 14 to 21, or rather 14 to 24, right, there's a 10 years apart, right? So within this 10 year apart, how should we develop them then? I mean, I don't know whether... Yeah, how can we focus? So should we focus them towards the develop them towards the frontal part or holistically everything?
That's what I meant. Yeah. So okay, let's get some perspective right. Firstly, we're not God, nah? It's not like, come, let me develop you. It's not like that, okay? But I'm able to confidently say we must develop them. As parents, you must focus on it because in this 21st century, young people are suffering from an atrophy of the brain. Atrophy means the muscle is wasting away for lack of use. That's atrophying. They're no longer reflective. They are reactive. They stop using this. I don't know whose fault is it. Could it be parents, you all keep occupying their time with computer games? I don't know. I really don't know. It's the sign of the times. So rather than blaming, I would say parents especially, and then followed by teachers and youth workers, we should engage this part of their brain. Through experiential learning, through reflection, through journaling, through Socratic questioning, meaning parents have quality time, sit down over dinner and talk about life, put down your phone, yeah, and then you talk to them using the 4 stations. What do you do today? How was school? Who was there? Where were you? How do you do it? Then you come up with the why. When you do that, you are fusing the prefrontal cortex. He's forced to take the information out because a question, you know, our brains are like Google. Seek and you shall find. We respond to questions. The brain is forced to work. Yeah. And you are wiring up the brain, the prefrontal cortex. So questions is the main thing. Don't worry, we are going to have a round of that, but I need to pass the time to Yi Qian so that she can give me 5 something for us, right? I don't even know what she's going to do, but it's going to be fun.
But Glenn, you need to make Crystal host first. Can you please make Crystal host?
Crystal.
Yeah, and then I can be co-host, please, so that I can share screen, everyone.
Okay, done.
Okay, I need to share screen.
You must be co-host first, huh?
Yeah, someone has to be co-host, please.
I can't. I lost my rights.
Okay, done.
Okay, everyone. I just want to share with you. Let us just run through. Okay, so this is the scoring so far. The score is very close, so everyone has a chance to change the scoring in the upcoming experience. And this is what's gonna happen, everybody. So as you can see, I'm getting ready for a quest, everyone. And I'm your ranger for today. So I want you to know that all of you are handpicked for today's quest because we have rejected candidates, and it is true. There were a few people placed on waiting lists and that they can't get onto this program. So all of you are specially handpicked, and yesterday you went through a team building exercise to form your tribe. So today, you're going to be sent out on your first mission, everyone. This is your first mission, and it is a race against time and a team effort. So in the time given, you have 12 minutes, everyone. So let's try with 12 minutes, and you have to accomplish 2 important tasks. And we'll be scoring, giving you points based on this criteria: completion of the activity, the task, the speed. So if you're the first to come back, you gain extra points. And of course, if you are very creative in the use of your items and completion of the task, you get bonus points as well. And last but not least, there are bonus points to be won. So how do you win the prize? How do you win the points? So let me share very quickly. This is number 1. There's 2 tasks. This is the first task. So as a team, you have to collect the following items and take a group picture with all these items in frame. So I'll be sharing. So you need 3 masks, everyone, 2 rolls of toilet papers, 2 types of fruits. I'll leave it to you to see what you have in your fridge. 1 pair of sunglasses, 1 cap, 1 red t-shirt, 1 lighter, and this is the bonus point, to find 1 life-saving tool that is used for emergency rescue. So it can be a jacket, something else that can be used for rescue and save life, which you have to explain later on if you're bringing it in. So what you have to do is to gather all these items, take a screenshot, a group photo, and pump it into the group chat once you're done. And then there's number 2, task number 2. Okay, task number 2 is not difficult. It's to take a group photo by forming the alphabet Y, because it's YWT. So this is the name of our mission group. You can see over here, this is the formation of a heart shape. So what you have to do is to just form Y. Okay, so in total, you have 12 minutes to do this. Crystal, please stand by. And I'm going to pump the 2 tasks into the chat group, so you can make reference to it inside the chat group. So remember, guys, once you are done with the 2 tasks, come back into the main room as soon as possible because speed matters. The first team that comes back gets to get bonus point. And once you're the main group, you can send the photos inside the chat group. Okay? So let's get ready. Krista, are we ready?
Yep, can.
Okay, let's go.
I really like the first one though.
Did we do everything that we're supposed to?
I think we did.
Okay, my computer is loading up. Trying to put everyone on this slide over here.
Where are we supposed to post the pictures? The Zoom or in the group chat?
I
She said to post the photo.
I can do both.
Uh,
I'm cropping now.
cool.
You guys have the bag. First one.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Which team is this?
Hey.
We are the A-Star Adventure
Right.
Chasers.
Right. And you have the pictures already?
Yeah.
Yeah, put it inside the chat group.
Inside the chat group.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can all see. And then stand by to show us the picture as well. Do you have it on your screen?
Yep, I'm just trying to make it look presentable as much as Zoom can allow. How many minutes has passed from the 12 minutes?
6.
Oh, wow.
You guys are quick.
When did we get back? I think it felt like ages ago.
Okay, but do you have the pictures?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
loading inside the group. Touching now. How many minutes did we take, guys? For the
I think we
AA
took
group?
7.
Maybe 4.
We took 4 minutes, okay.
Oh, that's fast eh.
All right, there we go. Can you all see the picture in the group?
Nice.
Yes.
Awesome. Everyone's all gonna copy our style now.
Is that a Y? Is that a Y?
Yeah, we did that. We did the Y that you should.
Are you sure it's a Y?
And that's why you put in the task number 2.
Oh, but that's a, oh. Okay. What fruit is that? And sorry, you don't have to hold anything. Wow.
Lemon and pear.
Yes, the toilet papers, red shirt, and a cap. Okay, group day is next.
I carry the load for us, literally.
Okay,
The lighter is supposed to be pointing in the direction of the Y.
Okay.
There was no other way to do it.
Group C is back.
The vitamins,
Yeah.
lifesavers.
Also, group D has the items and the Y in one picture. And the other group as well. How do I close the group? Is everyone back?
Yeah, I think they are all here.
Everyone's back. Okay, awesome. Good job, everybody. So you actually completed it even before 12 minutes. Okay, so actually can be done maybe in 8 minutes. Good job, everyone. Just give yourself a round of applause. Okay, I'm gonna go through the activity with everyone. So let's take a look. Let's check, okay, how the teams are doing. So the first team that came back today was which team? Wow, it was Team A. So maybe Team A, could you just share your screen and let us take a look at what you have. Team A, are you able to share screen?
Sharing now. Oh, host disabled participant screen sharing. You all can see in a group, right?
Yeah, we
Sarah,
could.
can you try again?
Yep.
Yeah, so Sarah, explain to us what are the items that you have and if you have a life-saving device.
Oh, I'll need Rachel to explain about the life-saving device. Okay.
It's actually a CPR card that you can kind of see where you can like place it on the chest of the person and then like you know exactly like where the heart is and then like how many pumps, like they have instructions and everything.
Yep. Okay, good, thank you. Well, excellent work to Team A. Team A was the first group that came back. Within, I think, 5 minutes, they were already back in the room with the photos taken. So I'm going to give Team A 2,000 points for completing the task. Another 1,000 points for being the first to come back into the room. And for their life-saving device, they also get another 300 bonus points. So in total, this group has 3,300 points. Is that right, Crystal? Yeah, 3,300 points. Okay, good job to Team A. Let's give them a round of applause. Okay, let's look at the second group then. The second group that came back, Group D.
These are all our items. Okay, so we have our life-saving item. I think is a portable charger. Am I right, Colin?
No, I can explain. Our life-saving item is a box given when we go to overseas for our NS. So it consists of like a fishing line, consists of non-wet matchsticks, and everything else lah. So basically, it's it's life-saving, right? Yeah.
Okay. So it's a lifesaver tool.
It's a survival kit.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it's good job to Team D. Team D is very creative. They combine the photo, the items into a Y as well, maximizing their time. So for that, right, I'm gonna give Team D is gonna get 2,000 points for completing the task. 500 points for creativity. 500 points for creativity. Yeah, so good job to Team D. Okay, so Crystal, just help me take note of the points. Okay, let's move on to Team C. Let's hear from Team C. Take it away, Team C. Show us what you have.
Okay, so this is our Y. Yeah, we just try and make use of whatever items you could get as well. Let me just try and show where was our photo? Oh yeah, so this was our items. Sarah, do you want to explain the survival tool?
Okay, where's the red color shirt, by the way, guys?
I'm wearing it.
Oh yes, all right.
Yeah, the survival tool is my inhaler. So if you cannot breathe, you can use that.
Good one, very unique. Okay, and how about the fruits? Okay.
I'm holding a kiwi and my Sarah's holding bananas.
Banana, lighters, and toilet papers, and the masks?
Yeah.
How many masks? Okay, 3 masks. Yeah, good job, good job. So for that, right, for completing the task, you get 2,000 points. And you also get, this group is very creative. They split the load and they wore red color. So you get another 500 points to Team C. Okay, so good job, Team C. And last but not least, let's move on to Team B.
Can you all see the screen?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, all right.
Take it away, Team B.
Krista, do you want to explain?
So for us, our life-saving device is the fire extinguisher. Yeah. Yeah, and then we form the Y shape there. Yes. And then we have Ichen joining us as well.
What are the fruits that there's
The
there?
orange and what's the
Chi.
other?
There's a lychee.
Oh, lychee. Okay, and toilet paper as well, right? There's 2 rolls over there, and sunglasses. Okay, good job to Team B. And Team B has their logo there as well, just like Team A. So I'm gonna give Team B 2,000 points for completing. 800 points, yeah, for their creativity as well as they managed to put together big-hearted buddy. So that's the total. Yeah, good job to Team B. Okay, I hope you guys have fun in this activity. I'm gonna hand the time back to Glenn.
Okay, well done. I happen to see all of your items. Some of you look very cute. Some of you look like you are part of the panic buying group, bring all the toilet rolls, etc. But I hope you all have fun. That was an experience. That was a designed event that you all experienced. Now we want to do a very simple reflection. So I hope you all remember what's the next stage, right? There are 4 stages. We already covered 1, which was an experience. So now we have to do stage 2. And what is stage 2? Reflect. So it's really tough, because this is virtual. Usually when I sit down in a circle with you guys, we have mahjong paper, it's a bit more spontaneous. So what I'm going to do is I'll probably call out a few of you. Again, I'll go by number. And then I would like you all to just share a little bit. The rest of you, what you need to do is to observe me. Observe the way I frame my questions. Take down if you need to. These are model questions. Okay? So why don't I do this? I'll just pick 19. Number 19 is Jiamin, right? Okay. Can you unmute yourself? Yeah. Share with us what was some of your experience in your group as you went to hunt for these items. What were you hunting for you?
I wasn't hunting anything. I was just like the rest were just kanchong go and take. So I just tell them, okay, what is needed. So I guess like my role is I'm kind of like leading the team as to what we need to do.
Okay.
But it's
So you, yep.
what we just did. I think I just look out for like what was needed. Yep.
Okay. So in a way, you were managing the team,
Somewhat.
and obviously in doing that, you need communication. You need to know what everybody was going for, right?
Yes.
And did you need to do anything else, like timing?
Timing wise, I think it was somebody else.
Oh, okay, okay.
Have to take
So, What else were you observing in that group while people went to hunt for things? What was your observation like?
I think I was observing like how we can um, finish task 2 while everyone like finished task 1 already. So we move on to task 2, which is the picture. So my role is to organize and like help to coordinate like the pose and everything.
Hmm.
So
So the posing lah, right?
yeah. So that's where vision comes in.
Okay, and since you were like the leader, the IC, people were looking to your instructions. Tell us a little bit of how you went about giving the instructions, the posing. What was your process like?
So I have a big picture in my mind of how like how the photo should be like and how it will turn out to be. Then I
Okay.
coordinate by asking individual, by telling them, okay, you are at this position, so you should do this. You are in that position, you should do this, and I will take the picture overall.
So you have the big picture in mind, and you got to cut that down to size to give to different people, tell them exactly how to pose.
Mm.
Any challenges?
I think in the Zoom setting, there's like a mirror image. So maybe my left is the other person's right. So I have to tell them, okay, you have to shift to your left, but instead it's her right. So there were a lot, like, there may be differences, but at least we managed to get, okay, if it's not this way, then you'll be that way.
Okay.
So that was one of it. Yeah.
When did that happen? I mean, was it like right from the start, you saw that problem already, the mirror image? You tell them left, it was right. Or was it later part?
I think it was I knew that at the back of my mind. So I'm just trying to test out, okay, like left side is maybe their left is my right. So I'm just testing out. So
Oh.
if it's wrong, then we'll just do it the other way around. So it will be correct.
Okay. Was it the whole group that was like that, or was it like who was it that was the one that you needed to adjust more?
I think it was Rachel.
Rachel.
Yeah, because like she was holding, but kudos to her lah. She was holding a lot of things, so I must give it to her. So
Okay.
yeah.
So she was the one that you kind of needed to guide a bit more and position her lah, right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So how was that whole process like for you? Was it smooth? Could you even with that small little challenge, you could bounce back very quickly. Just need to think on your feet and solve the problem there and there, strategize. How was it? How was the whole process like
I
for the
think
posing? For the posing.
the whole process was relatively easy because my team members were very very helpful. Yeah, I think that that makes it easy lah. So kudos to the team. Yeah, and we have I do agree that we have great teamwork, that we look out for each other. Yeah, so in the whole process, I think it was relatively easy to do it because we all have like the same goal, same vision, and we I think more than just like doing the things, but I think one, we look out for one another. So someone would volunteer and take the initiative to take note of the timing, then while the others like would do it together. So I'm just helping to manage it and organize everything.
Okay. So the reason why it was relatively easy for you as a leader was because your team were highly initiated. They knew what to do. They had the same vision, same mind. No one gave you attitude problem, right? There was high team spirit, and you all behaved like one, right? Am I right to say that? That was why you were able to do it so smoothly and relatively easy. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Okay, so we chop here because we can continue on and on and on. But I hope you guys were observing me and have my chat, my conversation with Jiamin. Nothing out of the ordinary, right? It seems like a harmless conversation. But what stage was I at? Do you know what stage I was? Was it stage 3? Did I go into lesson? Was it stage 2? Reflect. Okay. So there's a mix, right? So was I reflecting? Did you notice me use all 5 W's, 1 H? Very interview style. But I have to be careful not to be too clinical because otherwise it can turn out to be interrogation. So you have to practice this. This is called Socratic questioning, reflective question. Turn it into a conversation. But at the back of my head, I'm using a 5W1H. Did you notice when my why came out? Remember I told you reserve the why, right? For later. So the first part was all concrete. Very specific. How do you do it? What do you do? What challenges were there? Who gave you the most problem? Yeah. When? At what point? So I interview all those things first. Collect enough data. Then the why naturally comes up. In fact, she answered the why before I did. Ask her. She said, it was relatively easy because my team. When you hear the word because, you know it is an answer to the why. So all I needed to do was just reinforce it, paraphrase it, and say, oh, so it was easy for you, huh? Because, why? Because your team was initiated, behave as one, team spirit. Okay? I needed to get that data. The reflection is to collect material. Then the why is a opener to the lesson. Did she give you the lesson? What's the lesson? Teamwork, initiative, proactivity, one mind, focus, goal-oriented. These are the lessons, right? Now, if I did not collect enough data, I can't go to lesson. So that's what we call short circuit. A lot of trainers, they like to do this, OBS included. So when I was a trainer auditor, I audit trainers. And then all the steps, right? The facilitator would say, okay, all come down from the ropes, take out helmet, yeah, drink water. Okay, all those steps cleared because it's safety and security, right? Safety, health, huh? Then sit down in a circle, and then the first question the instructor asks is, what do you learn? What do you learn? And that's what we call immediate failure, because you short circuit the reflection. So notice that when I did it with Jiamin, I did not ask a single, hey, what do you learn? I just reflected. Reflection means go stun. Go back to the memory and just interview. What do you do? When do you do it? Where do you do it? Who was with you? How do you do it? And then why? Okay, clear everyone? Now, was I at stage 4? Was I? Or did I touch stage 4? No. So you got to be very clear what station you're at. In fact, you can self-assess whether you have reached stage 4 or not. Remember, if you don't reach stage 4, the learning is not complete. So, can I interview... Actually, I should go back to Jiamin now, okay? So Jiamin, are you still there?
Yes.
Jiamin, yeah.
Yep.
So will you say, let's review again, what is the key lesson that you took away from your experience with your team? What was your key lesson again?
Teamwork.
Teamwork, okay. So, if you were to be given, okay, no need. So let's say you are a youth, huh? And next week you've got project work at school with a totally different team. How will you apply this lesson of teamwork into that group dynamic? So just make believe and just answer.
Sorry, how do I apply teamwork into the mix?
Yeah, this same lesson that you got from your experience today, how will you apply in that group? You are still the team leader for that project group next week
Mm.
with the 5 students.
Okay. I will still continue to assess like what is like each and individual strength before I give the command. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even before giving the instruction, you want to kind of make sure all the team members would you will want to assess each team member's strength first, right?
Mm.
Okay. How will you build the team in the teamwork first? Is it just instruction, go and do it? What will you do? How will you do things differently from, let's say, other people who just say, hey, okay, here's the instructions, let's go and chiong. What will you do first?
Get the instructions first, then assess each and individual strength, then allocate them into what they are good at. So for example, like one person is good at example keeping the time, then okay, you do the time. If let's say you are good at keeping information, so you'll be the one that is taking the information. So first we'll be assessing by asking them questions. Okay, what are you good at? Like, are you good at like doing this? If you're comfortable, you can do it. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So you won't just dive into the mission, right? And then you probably want to let them hear each other out as well, so they know each other's strength as well, right? And they can leverage. Would you want to do some icebreakers first so that your team morale is stronger, relationship is stronger as well?
Yeah.
Yeah? Because now you understand teamwork is more important than just instruction and just doing it your way, right? Yeah. Because it's not just about leadership, it's not just about you. Each one of them needs to be very clear of their relationship and responsibility to the team as well. That's how it makes the team work, right? It makes the dream work, so to speak.
Yes.
Correct? Yeah. Okay, thank you, Chok. So again, we can go on and on. Whenever I'm at this questioning stance with someone, very future oriented, talking about the future, it's not happened yet, but I'm talking about what could happen, I'm always at stage 4. We are projecting. We are creating our future. This is called foresight. Earlier on, reflection is hindsight. Hindsight, foresight. Which part of the brain is being developed? Tell me, look at your notes, neurodevelopment. Hindsight, foresight. It's the PFC, prefrontal cortex. That's what we're doing. We are developing this part of the brain. Notice I don't pay too much attention to the lesson. That's called insight. Hindsight, insight, foresight. I am not hard up with the insight at all. Wrong yardstick to measure learning. I know teachers want the boy to say out, want to say out the right answer, but I'm wrong, right, it doesn't matter. What I'm going for is wiring the brain. And using question, I can wire his brain. Hindsight, foresight. The youth is thinking. For the first time probably in his life, he's thinking. He's not allowing external devices, graphics, computer games to do the thinking, stimulate him. This is using questions to fire up his neural connections. Neural connections. So, good youth workers, good youth mentors, just sit down and talk like that, no? Question after question after question. And what he's doing is developing this part of the brain. Okay? If you come for some of our programs, you can see some of our senior mentors. Very, very confident, very calm. Sit down with the youth, can talk for 1 hour. It's not just talk nonsense. It's following these stages. Following, talking. It's always hindsight. Yeah, what happened? And then what happened? You know, a lot of elaboration. And then foresight. Yeah, so next time, how will you do? Tell me what you would say to your mother. Any other actions that you do? Yeah. Oh, you're not your head. Okay. Yeah. And then some more. Show me. Role play. A lot of role play. A lot of role play. Yeah. Mother's Day. How will you appreciate your mother? Or write a card. Show me. Write what? Okay. Write. Thank you, mother. For what? For all the years you look after me. And then some more. And then we go into details. And all the information is being wired out. Not because we want to waste time chit-chatting, but we know we are forging something up here. Okay? Now, 9:30 already. Okay, and I think we should wrap things up. So right now, with your piece of paper or your book, your worksheet, can you turn to a blank page if you can? Yeah. And I would like you all to do a simple reflection of day 2 teaching. Yeah. So the question is this: ask yourself, what is one takeaway, one key lesson that you can take away to apply it in your life? It could be your personal life, your relationships, or for some of you, you might want to apply it into your youth work because some of you are from agencies, your youth mentors. How will you do things differently? What will you do? What will you change in your strategy and approach? Okay. Those of you who are not doing youth work, doesn't matter. How will you apply these learnings tonight, day 2, into your own life? I'm going to give you like 30 seconds. Yeah. You have to write it down. And I'll tell you why it's important to write it down. A few sentences, that's all. Definitely under 1 minute. Okay? So remember, you could have learned 4, 5, 6 things, but I'm just going for one. The number one thing that you can take away from tonight. Yeah, write it down first. Later on, when we call on you, you just need to read. That's it. No need to think too much. Yep. Write down, write down. Because I'm a strong believer of the neurosomatic physiological connection. "20 seconds more if possible. 20 seconds. "10 seconds. If you can't finish the sentence, never mind. Complete it after we finish the reflection. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Thank you. Chop. What did I just do there? I use a timing sequence, right? That comes under what? What skills? What functions? Yesterday. 3EMLI, which one? Limit setting. Notice when I give a time frame, some of you will move faster. This is just natural instinct, right? Human behavior works by time. If I say 3, 2, 1, you just move faster. Yeah. It's a sense of urgency. So with youth, we do that. Okay. I want to check in on number 3. Timothy? Hi, Timothy.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi.
One key takeaway from tonight.
I think I've learned about the bridging technique because I can apply it even to my own personal relationships because it's important to have that technique after the timeout to talk about it lah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's very important even for my own aspect in my own personal relationships also.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so the bridging, the timeout with who?
with the person whom I'm actually relating to, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, in my relationships, to anyone who is who are related to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a particular situation like that you will use this bridging? Is
I
it
think
like a
with my family members, normally it's just time out and then nothing is clarified, there's no appointment to actually clarify things and to talk about it.
okay.
Yeah.
So do you mind mind me asking you, is it like a negative situation, a negative
Yeah.
feeling?
Yeah,
So like
it's always, yeah.
anger?
Yes.
Okay, so in the anger, there's a lot of emotion, and then like just cut off lah. Don't
Yes,
talk.
cut off, nothing resolved, no resolution.
Nothing resolved.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So the next time when this happens, what are you going to say?
Well, I'm going
You
to
learn the technique. Your family members did not learn, so you only you can do it, right? So
yes. So I'll just say that look, I need a timeout. Okay, I need to give me some time to sort out my thoughts and my feelings,
Okay.
process it through, and then let's set another date to talk about it another time.
Okay. So you will say, hang on, it's me, it's not you,
yeah.
it's me, I need the timeout.
Yes.
Right? You take responsibility lah, right? It's me.
Yeah.
Right? And then I will come back to you.
Yes. I will take the initiative, the first move.
Yeah, and then you communicate lah, right? Otherwise people don't know lah. What do you mean, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well done, Timothy. Now,
Thank you.
Chop, guys, you saw what I did. A simple application. This is stage 4. And I can talk to anybody and ask him to project what will happen. You notice how I did the who, what, when, even where? Simple conversation. But obeying the principles of application is not happened yet. What I'm doing for Timothy is creating a mental model. Remember, theater of your mind is a visualization technique. It's telling him step by step what to do when it happens. When it happens. If you want the child to not be reactive, scold and shout, like last night, the SEL, that one, the William, right? You got to give him tools in his brain. Give him a mental model. If Mr. Singh is going to shout at you, you can say, hey, chop, time out. Can I see you later on? This is exactly the same technique. And you're developing the PFC. Okay? So don't need to wait until it happens and you scold and shout, right? You prepare him. Okay, well done. Now, it's already 9:40. We can wrap this up. But I hope you got some of the principles and application of what I did. Notice at the end of my class, at the end of the lesson, I'm doing a reflection exercise with you guys. I am doing what we call tapao. So that you can apply before you go home. Right? I'm already at stage 4. Most trainers will say, tell me what you learned tonight. That is stage 3. I'm not interested. I want you to apply what you learned. So my question is phrased differently. I say, what can you take away? I did not say, what did you learn? Frankly, guys, if you know me enough, you work with me, maybe 1-2 years, you notice I'm not interested in lessons at all. And you shouldn't be. This is the 21st century. I'm interested in thinking. Critical thinking. Okay, those of you in university, you know, right? Critical analysis. Number 1 subject that people fail. Because they stop thinking. They just want right or wrong answers. Okay? So I hope it's helpful for you. Do me a favor. If you learn something tonight, type in the chat box so I know some feedback. Yes, or anything like that.
Yeah, you could type in as well what you learned today so that we could also read.
Yeah, just quick one.
Yeah, sorry, what do you take away? Yeah.
Your takeaway. Yep. Short phrases will do. Short phrases. Yeah. So thank you. Jiamin asking reflective questions to the youth rather than giving solutions. Good. Daniel Lee, every experience is useless unless we engage in hindsight and foresight. Excellent. Zach, I think most people know the lessons, but jumping to applying it will eventually make them highlight the lessons. That's right. Shuqin asking the right questions instead of asking the whys first. Sarah, never short circuit the learning process. Focus on reflection, application, which is the yardstick of learning. Good job. Yeah. Bosco, reflect, apply, crucial. Sarah, learning is achieved through hindsight reflection upon the experience. Yep. Rachel, use reflective questioning. 4Ws, 1H, then only the why. Very good. Rachel Tay, teaching them to fish rather than giving them the fish. This is, you have gone beyond critical thinking. You have gone into what we call inference. Inference. That one advanced really. I never teach you that tonight. Okay. Colin, don't just ask what you have learned, but asking what you take away and how you can apply. Very good. Very good. Yeah, by the way, this is what makes A students. If you can master this, reflect, apply, these are A varsity students. Give them a mental model to apply. Good job, Adeline. Clifford, psychoed about brain development with the parents that I work with. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Mental rehearsals, obviously. Okay. Anyone else? You can still continue typing because what Yichen is doing is that she needs to record evidence of learning. It's part of assessment. Huh? If you come from my PDD course, curriculum design, PDD is program, design and delivery. That one I'm very passionate about because that's my first learning, my first research. I will teach about assessment. There's no point teaching kids or teaching youth. You must learn how to assess them. Daniel, you have a question about SEL. With the permission of the class, because it's already 9:45, would you like, are we okay? Why don't I just close the class first? And those of you who need to leave, please leave. Yeah. Those okay to stay, I'm okay to stay a few more minutes. I have another meeting going on, but never mind. I'll stay for you guys. Okay. Tomorrow come in earlier lah, huh? Come in earlier. I will come in early, and then you can ask me questions as well. Yichen, do you have any other announcements?
Yeah, I think same time tomorrow. Please be at the waiting room at 7:20, and the SS link is the same link for the last. The 3 nights are the same SS link. But I'll pump it into the chat group again closer to the timing. So that's all. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, see you tomorrow. Those of you who want to stay. I will take some questions, but let me answer some WhatsApp now first. So sorry.
Okay, let me just. Okay, so maybe in the meantime, right, I can just, because the AOL mentors and volunteers are here as well. So I'd like to ask the mentors specifically how you're going to apply this to the work with your mentee. Yeah, so please share in our chat group, or please share in our chat group so that everyone can learn as well. Okay, so to the AOL mentors, please share with me how you're going to apply what you have learned tonight, because I'd like to know.
There's collecting evidence of learning. Very good.
Yeah, and I'm asking that you think through as well what you have learned.
This is
which you
called
can do with your
evidence-based.
mentees.
Evidence-based. Hang on a while more. Okay, type in all your questions now. I'm going to take up all your questions right now before we leave.
Okay, let's go. Come on.
Daniel, go ahead.
Actually, can I just ask?
Yeah, go.
Yeah. So for the SEL, right? Because you say it's like kind of like an anti-clockwise kind of direction. Does that kind of mean that a youth, let's say, without strong self-awareness and self-management, a youth is likely to not have strong social awareness in the other quadrants?
Yeah, you can read that way as well. Yeah. By the way, every behavioral issue stems from self-awareness. If you have low self-awareness, you typically won't know what to. You're not even aware that you're like misbehaving, or you're not you're not performing, right? Yeah, but it's also not true that it starts with self first, then only the social awareness or the relationship management, because there's also the factor of personality. Yeah, so the stereotypical introvert versus extrovert could play a part in influencing that as well. So if you're introverted, you probably won't be that participative socially, lah, right? But an introvert can have high self-awareness, high self-management even, such that he's not vocal. So it's not accurate lah to say, oh, start with self first, then only relationship, interpersonal follows that. Not necessarily true.
Okay, thanks.
Okay?
That's all actually.
Thanks. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah. I see. Sarah, how should we relate differently to a youth who struggles with mental illness? What are the key considerations? Maybe you'd like to unmute yourself. I'll quickly try to take this question. So, how do we relate? With depression, mild depression, what works well is this EL cycle, because it's what we call talk therapy. You can, and there's a mirror effect as well. That means you can bounce off their reflection through a third party or through a second party. In this case, you as a mentor, let's say. So actually, talk therapy, talk processing is very helpful for someone who is depressive or mildly depressive. Of course, it will reach a stage or point where they have crossed a certain level where it's become irrational, because depressed people usually have a very faulty thinking or belief system. So that's where a registered licensed psychiatrist, psychologist need to come into play. Yeah. A psychologist will use more talk therapy and assessment tools. A psychiatrist would prescribe medicine. There's no wrong or right. A psychiatrist might need to intervene with what we call a pharmacology point of view first. That means stabilize the mind with the drugs. Yeah. Then it becomes rational. A psychologist will use certain tools to assess, and then certain therapy interventions, like homework or more talk. It's basically counseling. So there's no wrong or right. It really depends. With our youth who show symptoms of depression, moodiness, using the EL is very powerful, because when you understand the framework, you can actually talk the person out into reframing the lesson. Now, we cannot change the external situation. He may come from an abusive family, for example. But we can talk about some lessons that can be drawn out from a negative situation. You can draw out positive reframing. So we call this reframing. So, for example, a youth has very physically abusive father, drunk, and this is very common. So he complains and he says, "Wow, I cannot take it anymore." So to bolster his sense of esteem and confidence, after reflecting with him, how I would target the lesson part would be to reframe his negative situation and to say something like, "But do you know this is how you can grow strong in your character? And next time you can teach other youths, other people. You can be a role model of what it means to stay positive in a negative situation." So I kind of reframe the thing, right? Yeah. That's at the lesson stage, the third stage. Okay, so that's a bit more advanced. That's called a reframing technique. You got to come for my advanced course. Yeah. I hope that answers you. If it doesn't, you can continue to ask me, okay? Jiamin, how do we measure assess if the youths applied what they have learned? Well, you come back again to reflect. It's a cycle, guys. So he apply, he go back. Next week you meet him again. Please don't teach him new lessons. Please ask him what he did, how he applied last week. It becomes a reflection now. So boy, remember last week we talked about being responsible. Responsibility is one of our values. Yeah. Tell me what you did. Well, we discussed that you will be responsible to switch off the aircon, save electricity, the fan, all that, right? Because now COVID, etc. Oh, tell me what you did. Oh, you instead of turning on the aircon, you just turn on the fan. It's been quite cold, right? These few days. Yeah, raining. Anything else? Okay, you turn off the switches after shutting down your computer. Okay, very responsible. Good, good. Anybody there? Oh, your father. Your father was there. What did he say? Oh, he noticed it. Oh, good, good. How did that make you feel? Oh, okay. You felt like you achieved something. Oh, very, very good. When did you switch it off? One time or every day? Oh, 3 days. You forgot one day. Okay, not bad. Well, three is good. Yeah, yeah. Tell me, why did you feel like you achieved something? Why? It gives you a sense of accomplishment. Accomplishment important to you? Yeah. Do what you say, right? Why? Because that's integrity. Right? Who you are outside is what. Don't just talk. Walk the talk, right? Yeah, sorry, I'm feeling a bit weird, like talking to myself, interviewing myself, but you get the idea. I use 5W1H. And I reserve the why for the last part. Because why is a belief statement. Why is it important to you? Oh, integrity. Don't just talk only. Walk the talk. And that leads to a lesson. So that will reinforce prior lesson. Then I go to stage 4 again. Okay, so next week, what will you do? Next week. Responsibility. Oh, look after TT. Okay. Your brother. How? Tell me how. Oh, his homework. Why? Why? Oh, because last time he approached you, then you anyhow, right? But you feel it's your responsibility to be a role model to TT. Okay, good, good. When will this happen? After school, he come back, right, with homework? Okay. So, same thing. 5 W's, 1 H. That's all you need to do. Right? Okay. Good. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I think we should close shop now. 9:55. Ichen, anything else? We did not take photo, then wasted, nah.
Yeah, I know. So let's take one before we end.
Yeah. Ichen, are you in blue or not?
Yes.
So
Isn't it obvious?
Never mind. Okay. Photo, come.
Okay.
How are we going to do the photo?
Why? Today is all about the why.
Esther, the one that why okay, like that.
So remember, why is the last thing we asked?
Okay lah. Tomorrow better be a bit different now, okay?
Okay, everybody, let's look at the camera, the screen. And here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, got it.
Okay, good job. Well done. Okay, see you tomorrow evening. I gotta go off first, guys.
Yeah, see you guys.
Yeah, see you. Good night.
Good night.